Hi there, my name is Marla Wall, and I want to teach you just a little introductory ELDOA practice that you could do on your own, at home, sitting in a chair, anywhere. And it's going to start to give you the idea of how actively decompressing your spine is going to help maintain the health of your spine. It's going to help improve your posture, and it will help all your organs, it'll help your mood. Honestly, it will help just about everything. So I'm going to use this wall behind me to give me information about where my spine is in space. When we have a habit of sitting in a certain way, we can distort our idea of where the center line is. So we want to find where is that gravity line, that central axis line, where my body is nicely stacked and my spine is in its natural curves. So to find my gravity line, I want to find the center of my pelvis. I want to line up the rib cage and my head. I want the breathing diaphragm floating right over my pelvic floor diaphragm, and that's where I find my natural postural support. So in order to find that spinal decompression, I want to move the two ends away from each other, much like you would take a TheraBand and you would pull it taut by moving both ends away. Now, how much I want to stretch that TheraBand is up to me. How much I want to stretch my spine depends on my ability and what feels right. So first, we just pull it taut so we find the line of tension, and then perhaps as we get more used to it, we start to dial it up just a little bit. I want you to think of that like your foot on the gas pedal or your hand on the dial. You decide, how much do I want to do? So I'm going to use the wall now. I'm going to slide my bum right up close to the wall, touch my shoulders, and probably your head will touch. If you have a bit of a forward head posture and you touch the head and it's pinched, you don't want to do that. So we want to feel that occipital bone. In fact, you could put your hand there right under the bottom of your skull. That bone is sliding up. At the end of the spine, you've got your sacrum, and that's kind of dropping down. We're not tipping the pelvis, we're just sinking straight down. Now I want to think of finding the bottoms of my pelvis, my sit bones. Think of them like little feet. Let yourself sink into gravity for a second, and then push down through the sit bones and feel your head start to float up. I'm going to use the wall to give me information. As I slide myself a little taller, I'm imagining that the curves of my spine are flattening out. So I don't want to flatten my curves by just pushing my pelvis back into the wall. That is going to create more compression. So what I want to think of is that axial tension. As I move the points away, my spine will start to flatten out. So I'm sliding my spine taller, longer, sit bone, pelvis down, top of my head floating up. Good. I'm going to maintain this for about 5 breaths. Soften the low ribs. Sometimes it helps to just put a hand here, and allow the rib cage to soften. Now, when we soften at the surface, we probably find a bit more space. Your foot is just lightly touching that gas pedal as you go up through your head and down with the pelvis. The sit bones are going to stay very wide. After about 5 or 6 breaths, I'm going to just relax and let that go. And I'm going to let it go slowly. Again, I'm going to dial it down slowly. Okay, now I'm going to try adding one arm. Lengthen my spine, find that long space between the head and the tail. I'm going to reach my right arm forward. Wind and unwind at the shoulder socket. I'm going to open the palm, bend at my wrist. My ribs are moving into the wall while my palm is actively pushing away. When I push out through my palm, my shoulder blade goes a little wider. Try to keep that rotation in the shoulder as the arm goes up. So I'm keeping this action of my hand. As the arm goes up, we tend to lose track of the hand. Where's my hand going? I can't see it anymore. What's happening? So what I want to do is work on this, maintain, keep the shoulder wound, keep it wound. If I've lost track, you might notice pointing your fingers to the back, we lose connection to the shoulder blade. Start to point to the side as we start our winding. There's my shoulder blade. Now I can feel it. Now as I keep winding in that direction, I'm going to push up, and now I'm bringing in all the fascia on the right side. It's a little bit easier for my brain to keep track of only one side at a time in the beginning. So I'm going to flatten my spine and open, decompress from the heel of my right hand to my sit bone, from my tail to my crown. This side is soft and relaxed. When I'm ready to come out, I just dial it down slowly, slowly. Take my time. Now I'm going to do the other side. Push down through my sit bones, up through my head. Wind and unwind just to wake up the fascia around my shoulder, that soft tissue socket of the shoulder. We're going to use all the ligaments to help with this spinal decompression. Keep my ribs heavy as my arm goes up. Wind at the shoulder socket and push up through my palm, up through my head. As I get longer and taller, the spinal curves start to flatten out. I'm bringing in lots of space between each disc of the spine. My eyes are looking down to my cheeks. We're stretching the deepest fascia of the body, which is the dura mater. That's the fascia around your spinal cord. It wraps around your brain and attaches to your eyes. So as my eyes look down, I'm helping to stretch the dura mater, the deep fascia of the spine. When I'm ready to come out, I relax one arm and relax my whole spine. Relax my shoulders. I might take a little break here, but now I want to do both. So I'm going to reach both hands forward, open my palms, bend at the wrists, push out, line up with the wall. Maybe at this point you're trying it without the wall. Softening my ribs, push down through my sit bones and now up through both palms, spreading the fingers. I call this one the desk ELDOA because it's a really great one to do sitting at your desk. It's also just a practice ELDOA. It's not specific to any part of the spine, but we're decompressing the whole spine. Push up through your head, eyes looking down. Keep getting taller, keep getting flatter. You decide, do I want to keep the tension just a little bit light, or do I want to start to dial it up? Push down more through the sit bones, more through the head. You're in control. You have your foot on the gas pedal, maybe just a light connection to those lines of tension. When you're ready to come out, we dial it down slowly. We do one arm, other arm. Took a while to build that pose, and we dismantle it slowly, softly. There have been a lot of studies, scientific studies done on the snapback effect of the muscles and the fascia. So we want to avoid this snapback effect by dropping out quickly. And that's why we dial it down slowly, so that there's some muscle memory of what you just did. Now that I've done both sides, and then I did one side, other side, both sides, I want to breathe softly now and just see what I notice. My spine is again in its natural curves. The ELDOA helps to improve the functioning of your natural curves. We're not actually trying to flatten out the spine. It's really important. This is a therapeutic intervention to help bring more health, more vitality to your spine, to your brain, to your organs. But if you're in action, if you're walking, we're not trying to flatten out the spine. We can decompress after our walk. But now I want to enjoy the curves of my spine. I feel really available for movement. My breath is a little easier now. All right, thank you so much for joining me. I really recommend that you practice this a couple times a day if you sit in a desk all day long at a computer. Or at the very least, if you can do this at night before you go to sleep. Decompress your spine, bring some health to the discs. Thanks so much, and I hope to see you in class. Feel free to reach out to me for any questions, marla@marlawall.com, and you can visit my website, marlawall.com, and sign up for class. See you there.